Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us here on Mirror Now. This is Urban Debate and I'm Hina Gambhir. When there is an illness, the remedy normally is a bitter pill which is sugar-coated. But when the illness is deep and wide, it is time to deliver the medicine direct without the nicety of a sugar coating. These are the pictures of horrors of second wave that started sometime in March this year. Lakhs of COVID patients showing severe symptoms, gasping for oxygen, hunting for hospital beds, black marketing of medicines and oxygen cylinders, bodies floating down the river Ganga, and the national medical infrastructure down on its knees. It was a nightmare, viewers, that made 130 crore Indians cringe and fear. Now, barely 6 months after that, these are the pictures from 6 top regions in the country. Now, this includes visuals from Sarojini Nagar in the national capital. This you must have received on your WhatsApp because these visuals went viral. We can clearly see the sea of unmasked people relegating social distancing protocols to the dustbin, forgotten the nightmare they witnessed in March, April and May this year with their eyes wide open. Now, viewers, this is an invitation to a disaster. No, it's not the governments which are printing it, but it is us, the citizens. Alarm bells are ringing in the government, not just because Omicron, the latest variant of COVID-19, is here. Not just because the World Health Organization says that it spreads 3 times faster than the dangerous Delta variant. Not just because Omicron has a significant growth advantage over Delta. It has a doubling time of between 1.5 to 3 days. Alarm bells, viewers, are ringing because the public and the governments seem to have dropped the term caution against infection from their life and working vocabulary. Prime Minister Modi yesterday held an emergency meeting. He advised Savdhani and Satarkta. Today, the government came out with some very disconcerting data on Omicron, and I want you to pay attention to what the government has said today. India so far has reported 358 Omicron cases in 17 states. It has already spread itself in 17 states. 114 cases, or 31%, may have fully recovered. But out of the 183 cases of Omicron that have been analyzed by the government so far, 91%, or 166 out of these 183 were fully vaccinated people. So even if you're fully vaccinated, it does not give you a complete protection. It does not mean that you will not get Omicron variant or you will not get infected by coronavirus. And this data is very crucial. Now, 3 of these 183 people who were analyzed by the government had the privilege of taking a booster shot as well. So despite the booster shot, the government's analysis has said people have got infected with Omicron variant. What's worse, 27% of these people had no foreign travel history. Now, this indicates that even if we are fully vaccinated, we cannot lower our guard. The second wave took away 2 lakh lives as the medical system collapsed due to a rush of patients. Just imagine what may unfold if a faster spreading variant is allowed to spread. Before I tell you what's happening in the country right now, and before I go across to my guest to understand what we can do together to fight this Omicron variant, listen in to what the Health Ministry had to say.
WHO ने 7 दिसंबर 2021 को ये कहा कि ओमिक्रॉन हैज़ अ सिग्निफिकेंट ग्रोथ एडवांटेज ओवर डेल्टा। इसका अर्थ ये है कि जिस रफ्तार से डेल्टा फैलता है उससे कहीं अधिक रफ्तार से ओमिक्रॉन फैल रहा है। WHO ने ये भी कहा कि ओमिक्रॉन के केसेस डबल होते हैं 1.5 दिन से 3 दिन के अंदर। तो ये अपने आप में चिंता की बात है। इसलिए हमारा परामर्श राज्यों को और आपके माध्यम से सबको ये है कि हमें विजिलेंट रहने की आवश्यकता है और हमें कोविड एप्रोप्रिएट बिहेवियर को बहुत सख्ती से अपनाने की आवश्यकता है। So there are now 358 Omicron cases in 17 states and UTs of India. Equally important is an analysis of 183 cases that has been done. 183 Omicron positive cases. So out of these 183 cases that were analyzed, we found 121 had foreign travel history. हमने 183 ओमिक्रॉन पॉजिटिव केसेस का विश्लेषण किया और पाया कि उनमें से 121 केसेस की फॉरेन ट्रैवल हिस्ट्री थी। 44 मामलों में फॉरेन ट्रैवल हिस्ट्री नहीं थी, लेकिन अधिकांश फॉरेन ट्रैवल्स के ट्रैवलर्स के कॉन्टैक्ट्स थे और 18 लोग ऐसे थे जिनके बारे में जानकारी अभी प्राप्त नहीं हुई है। अगर हम जेंडर के हिसाब से देखें तो 39% ओमिक्रॉन पॉजिटिव मामले इस 183 में महिलाएं थीं और 61% पुरुष थे। वैक्सीनेशन स्टेटस एक महत्वपूर्ण आंकड़ा है। इन 183 में से 87 लोग फुली वैक्सीनेटेड थे और 3 लोग ऐसे थे जिनको कि 3-3 डोज मिली हुई थी। इन 3 मामलों में से 2 मामले दिल्ली में और 1 मामला मुंबई में पाया गया है। 7 लोग अनवैक्सीनेटेड थे, 2 लोग पार्शियली वैक्सीनेटेड थे यानी उनको 1 डोज मिली थी और 16 लोग ऐसे थे जो इनएलिजिबल थे यानी जिस भी देश से आ रहे थे उनके नेशनल वैक्सीनेशन कार्यक्रम में उस आयु वर्ग को नहीं कवर किया जाता था, तो इसलिए हम उसको दिखा रहे हैं। और 73 लोग ऐसे हैं जिनका वैक्सीनेशन स्टेटस अननोन है। तो ये भी महत्वपूर्ण बात है और इसको हम लगातार ट्रैक कर रहे हैं।
So this is what the government had to say today. Let me now tell you how the situation is on the ground. We have my colleagues who've been tracking this development very, very closely throughout the day, joining us live this evening. We have Amir Haq from Lucknow, Alok Singh from Delhi, Shweta Verma from Mumbai, Govind Singh is live with us from Bhopal, Revati Rajivan from Bengaluru, Santya Gora from Mumbai, and Amit Singh Rajput from Ahmedabad. Good evening to all of you. Alok, you are in the national capital, and I want to begin with you because it was the visuals of Sarojini Nagar that actually went viral. We were all shocked to see how people are still coming out in large numbers when the national capital is seeing 180 cases in just 24 hours. That's today's data. Tell us where you are. What is the situation like?
Well, yes, Ina, in fact, the number of cases are increasing in the national capital. That is why Delhi government has also started taking some precautionary measures. In fact, they have announced that there will be no gathering and no celebration at the public place. But they have not restricted at the religious places, no restrictions at the religious places. Remember, tomorrow is the Christmas Eve, so people have already started coming and gathering at various churches. In fact, I am standing at one of the famous churches near Connaught Place, and you know that this is a Sacred Heart Cathedral. This is one of the famous churches, and here lot of footfall happens usually at the time of the Christmas Eve. Today, you can see some of the people have already come over here, but less in numbers. Today, the church has already been shut, and tomorrow also it will be remain shut because the administration has taken the decision that they should remain it shut for the common man, that they cannot gather over here. Yes, online registration is open, that you can register yourself and then go inside and then offer prayers and lit the candle. However, here are some of the people who come over here. Sir, आप लोग को थोड़ा सा what I feel that you are little bit disappointed because you are not allowed to go as a common man. But online registration is open, so how will you see that?
So we didn't know that online is there, so we just randomly came here, but we are a little disappointed.
Okay.
But anyway.
Okay, and you know that there is the cases have again started going up.
Correct.
And administrations and Delhi government has also imposed some of the restriction at the celebration at the public place.
Yes.
So how are you going to celebrate
This time I believe since the restrictions are there, we are going to celebrate at home.
Okay.
And that's the only thing that we can do. Yeah, but we definitely wanted to come and visit this place.
Okay.
We are a little disappointed, but we'll have a celebration at home.
Okay, so this is the mood of the people here at the national capital. Most of the people are saying that they are disappointed because restrictions have already been imposed at some of the places. But they also welcome the restriction, and they say that they don't have any option. They have to celebrate that 25th of December and also for 31st of December. That is the New Year Eve at their home only. Back to you.
Good to see, Alok, that the people that you saw around you were all wearing masks. In fact, the kids also were found wearing the mask. Stay on with us, Alok. Let me now go across to Santya as well. Santya, good evening. Cases in Mumbai, in fact, have doubled in the last 72 hours. Tell us where you are and how the situation has been.
So, that's true. And that is why, and before we talk about what exactly is happening on ground, why Mumbai is something which we all should really, really worry about. Because whether it was the first lockdown, whether it was the second lockdown, means whether it was the first wave or the second wave, both the times Maharashtra was that state which was among the top states recording most of the numbers. And Mumbai was that one city which actually was having highest numbers across the country on many occasions. That's why Mumbai is a place which cannot be taken lightly. This is an industrial city. This is a city where migrant population comes and goes. So that is something which adds to the complication, because of which COVID actually spreads even more. This is what the experts have said from the beginning. Now, right now we are in Mumbai Santa Cruz area, and talking about what's happening on ground on both sides of the roads. I'll show you that how there are people, there are stalls, and there are people everywhere. It doesn't look like that we are in the middle of Omicron, which is the latest variant of coronavirus, which is spreading very quickly. We are talking on a day when Mumbai has crossed 100, when Maharashtra has crossed more than 100 cases of Omicron. So here also you will see whether it's the Pani Puri stall, whether it's the, stationery shops, whether it's confectionaries, all these places, there are people. Now, another thing is here, Hina, that Maharashtra government, how exactly Maharashtra government is planning to deal with this, that is something which is not clear whatsoever. Because Maharashtra government, Hina, was saying that there's a possibility that night curfew will be imposed in order to keep Christmas crowd and New Year crowd to ensure that there's no crowding. But we are already on Christmas Eve, and still now there are no restrictions which are announced or imposed whatsoever. Hina.
Right. Okay, and behind you, of course, we saw many people not even wearing their masks properly. Stay on with us, Sandhya. Let me now go across to Amir Haq as well. Amir, it's the election season. We've seen political rallies as well. How is the situation like where you are right now?
Well, Hina, this subject is very crucial and important for Uttar Pradesh, definitely, because not just this is the Christmas season and the New Year season, but also because this happens to be the time right before elections when all political parties are involved into, campaigning for their respective parties. And there are huge and large congregations that are being called by most political parties, whether it is by way of public meetings and rallies or by way of Rath Yatras that are happening in just about all the districts of Uttar Pradesh. Well, so far as UP government is concerned, they have just this afternoon itself released a list of do's and don'ts as far as general public is concerned. Of course, they have also clamped night curfew from 11 p.m. at night till 5 a.m. The next morning. Also, congregation on weddings has been restricted to 200 persons per wedding. But as far as restrictions for political rallies and congregations is concerned, so far the government hasn't really spelled out what it plans to do. There is a meeting of Election Commission officials slated for 29th of December.
What is behind you, Amir? Because I can see, a lot of people behind you. Right. We'll, of course, see what the Election Commission is going to do. But what is behind you? Which area are you in right now? And throughout the day, did you see a lot of people coming out in the markets?
This is right outside a mall in Gomti Nagar area of Lucknow, wherein there are a large number of people who actually come forward for shopping, especially around this season when it is New Year's time and the Christmas time. Although you don't see much of the crowd around me because this is outside the mall, we were not allowed to, stand right outside the mall's gate. But yes, definitely large number of people here, and many of them obviously not following the COVID-appropriate behavior, especially since there has been a significant drop in the number of COVID-positive cases, at least in the state of Uttar Pradesh over the last 6 months. In fact, in state capital Lucknow, there are just 2 cases that have been registered over the last 24 hours. But yes, the number of overall cases has definitely gone up. In fact, the last time we heard there were 25 cases, but over the last 24 hours, 49 cases have been reported from across Uttar Pradesh as far as COVID-19
from
is concerned.
25, the case count has gone up to 49 in UP. Amir, requesting you to stay on with us. Revati, how is the situation like in Bengaluru? Are people still coming out in large numbers there? Because restrictions were announced earlier.
Yes, they are, and that's all I've seen in the last 2 hours since I came here. I'm at the St. Mary's Basilica at Shivaji Nagar. The Karnataka government has not imposed any restriction on midnight mass or prayer gatherings inside the church. But of course, outside there is a ban on public gathering and crowds. But from the time I've come here in the last 2 hours, it's only now that I'm seeing that the traffic cops have brought in barricades, assuming that it would be placed around midnight sometime. There's a traffic jam right here with lots of vehicles stuck. There are at least 2 ambulances that got stuck here for a few minutes since the time this bulletin began. And on the other side, Christmas stalls are up, decorative items, everything is available for shopping, and the crowd is at its maximum. It doesn't feel like there is a pandemic. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. There's a festive mood. It's lots of colors. People are shopping. A lot of them who are not wearing their mask at all. Only when you remind them, sometimes they do wear the mask. आपने mask क्यों नहीं पहना है?
नहीं हटा दिया माँ
क्यों हटा दिया? कोविड हो गया, खत्म हो गया. So even the last time when I was speaking to some of them, only when I remind them do they wear their mask. Some of them wear it on their cheeks. Some of them don't wear their mask at all. Some of them try and cover their face when the cameras pan to them. This is what it is like in most of these marketplaces where the festive mood is at its maximum. A lot of people who need reminders that the pandemic is still on, not worried about the latest variant. All of them out there shopping, and the restrictions are spelled out very clearly by the government, but that's only on paper. On the ground, the situation is exact opposite. Public gatherings are not allowed, celebrations in public not allowed, crowding not allowed, but all that on the paper. And if you see, you will not find a single official, a BBMP marshal or other cops who are trying to ensure that the norms are followed on the ground. So no official at all on the spot here to ensure that the COVID-appropriate behaviors are followed. Even for New Year's, of course, there are restrictions. No public gathering, no partying, DJing or dance floors in clubs, pubs, restaurants. Only 50% strength allowed, and staff must come in with 2 doses of vaccine. But we'll have to wait and see whether there too all the norms would be followed, because clearly...
And not many people seem wearing masks as well. Forget about social distancing in Bengaluru. Revati, government clearly seems to be more busy with other issues there in Karnataka. Request you to stay on with us. Let me now go across to Govind as well. Govind, good evening. आप हमें बताइए कि भोपाल में आप कहाँ पर हैं और किस तरह के आपको नज़ारे देखने को मिल रहे हैं. Restrictions तो अनाउंस कर दी है सरकार ने, क्या लोग उसे फॉलो कर रहे हैं?
Absolutely. Let me just first take you to the pictures. Can themselves elaborate that what the situation there in Bhopal for COVID-19? No fear for the new variant of COVID, Omicron. You can clearly see people are enjoying dinner standing on this Sagar Gere and 10 number market in Bhopal. You know that there are not much cases in Madhya Pradesh for COVID-19 today. Even 30 cases were recorded. But Madhya Pradesh is first and foremost state to impose the night curfew from 11 to 5 o'clock. But many are saying that there is is no sense decision of this kind of curfew, because itself more than 90% market shut down till 11 o'clock. This is the opinion of many people. Even after that, we can understand that, yet we have to be cautious, we have to be कॉशंस लेने बहुत ज़रूरी हैं। कुछ लोग हैं, देखिए आप, अधिकतर लोग मास्क पहने हुए हैं और कुछ लोग ऐसे भी नज़र आ जाएंगे जो मास्क नहीं पहने हुए हैं। ग्रुप में वहाँ पर देखिए एक युवाओं का ग्रुप खड़ा हुआ है। दे आर ऑल नॉट हैविंग मास्क ऑन देयर फेस, सो वी डायरेक्टली ट्राई टू अप्रोच देम। आप लोगों ने मास्क नहीं पहना हुआ है ग्रुप में, आप लोग सब लोग फोटो खिंचवा रहे हैं, मास्क नहीं पहना है आपने। So, Hina, you can understand this is whole situation here in Bhopal in 10 number market. People are not much afraid of this new variant of COVID-19. But here we can understand that government is having the precautions. That's why restrictions have been imposed, and even the Madhya Pradesh, the first state to impose the night curfew. After that, Uttar Pradesh also the second one. So this is the ground report from Bhopal, where we found that how people are not much afraid of new variant of COVID-19.
Okay, Govind, stay with us because, you know, there might be not many cases there in Bhopal right now, but we can't forget what happened with cities like Indore, who witnessed complete chaos and horror during the second wave specifically. Stay with us, Govind. Amit Rajput is also live with us. Amit, आप हमें बताइए कि आप कहाँ पर इस वक्त हैं और किस तरह के हालात आपको देखने को मिल रहे हैं?
टीना जी, देखिए, मिरर नाउ की टीम इस समय अहमदाबाद का जो सबसे बड़ा पॉपुलर एरिया रिवर फ्रंट, और रिवर फ्रंट पे विशेष तौर से एक तिबेटियन बाजार लगा हुआ है। यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं कि ये तिब्बत से आए हुए जो बाजार हैं, ठंडी का समय जो है वो गुजरात में भी देखा जा रहा है, लेकिन यहाँ लोग बिल्कुल कोविड-19 का जो बिहेवियर, जो सरकार की गाइडलाइन है, उसका बिल्कुल पालन नहीं कर रहे हैं। सबसे बड़ी बात हीना जी, मैं ये बताना चाहूँगा हमारे दर्शकों को और लोगों को भी कि जिस तरह से गुजरात के अंदर अब हालात जो कोरोना के हैं वो लगातार बिगड़ते जा रहे हैं। कल तकरीबन 180 दिन के बाद में 100 जितने कोरोना के केसेस जो हैं वो गुजरात में दर्ज किए गए, यानी कल कोरोना ने केसों के अंदर सेंचुरी लगाई। 30 जितने ओमाइक्रॉन वेरिएंट के जो केसेस हैं वो गुजरात के अंदर अभी तक दर्ज हो चुके हैं। टॉप 5 जो स्टेट हैं ओमाइक्रॉन के, उसमें गुजरात टॉप 5 में आता है। उसके बाद मैं ये बताना चाहूँगा आज भी केसेस की तो तकरीबन 98 केसेस हैं। आप देखिए किस तरह से लोग बिना मास्क के, कुछ लोगों ने मास्क पहना है, कुछ लोग नहीं पहनते हैं। क्यों नहीं पहनते हैं वो उन्हें पता है, कुछ लोग मास्क को नीचा रख के चल रहे हैं। तो ये बहुत गंभीर बात है। और आज भी 98 केस यानी 100 जितने केस गुजरात में कोरोना के दर्ज हो चुके हैं। तो ये समझना होगा लोगों को भी, क्योंकि गुजरात के हालात जो हैं वो लगातार बिगड़ते जा रहे हैं और लगातार बिगड़ने की वजह से हम एक बार इनसे बात भी करना चाहेंगे। सर, ये बताइए, मास्क क्यों इस तरह से नीचे लगा के रखा हुआ है?
नहीं, वो भी अभी आ रहा ना, इसलिए थोड़ा गिर गया है।
सर, आपको पता है कोरोना के केसेस लगातार गुजरात में 100 आ रहे हैं।
हाँ, बोला बस आ रहा है, इसलिए हमको सेफ्टी करना चाहिए। आपको जरा शरीर को जरा संभालना चाहिए आपको, बराबर, दूसरे से डिस्टेंस रहना चाहिए।
नहीं, पर ये मास्क आप नीचे रखते हैं,
नीचे आ जाता है, नीचे ऊपर रखा है ना, देखो।
अच्छा,
पता है।
तो हिना जी, आप देख रही हैं किस तरह से
है कि ओमाइक्रॉन क्या है।
गुजरात में बिल्कुल भी चिंतित नहीं है। मैं बराबर बताना जी ना जी।
आप एक बार लोगों से पूछने की कोशिश कीजिए कि क्या उन्हें पता है कि ओमाइक्रॉन क्या है।
बिल्कुल हिना जी, मैं बिल्कुल बात करना चाहूँगा। यहाँ पर जो लोग आए हुए हैं उन्हीं से हम एक बार बातचीत करना चाहेंगे। मेरे सहयोगी मौजूदान मेरे साथ हैं, हम इन्हीं से पूछेंगे। सर, ओमाइक्रॉन के बारे में आप जानते हैं?
ना जी सर, नहीं जानते हम।
अच्छा, कोरोना का नया वेरिएंट है, आप मास्क को नीचे रखा हुआ आपने?
वो बातचीत करने के लिए नीचे रखा।
ओमाइक्रॉन वेरिएंट क्यों नहीं जानते हो?
नहीं, कोरोना भी नहीं जानते हम।
अच्छा, आप जानते हैं ओमाइक्रॉन वेरिएंट के बारे में? देखिए, लोग बिल्कुल जिस तरह से बेपरवाह हैं, उन्हें किसी भी प्रकार की कोई चिंता नहीं है, लेकिन कुछ लोग यहाँ पर जो और मौजूद लोग हैं, हम उन्हीं से पूछना चाहेंगे कि ये जो लोग यहाँ पर खरीदी करने के लिए आए हैं, सर ओमाइक्रॉन वेरिएंट के बारे में जानते हैं आप?
क्या?
ओमाइक्रॉन वेरिएंट जो कोरोना का नया है, उसके बारे में जानते हैं?
नहीं जानते, बहुत नहीं जानते हैं, थोड़ा थोड़ा सुना है सर।
अच्छा, थोड़ा थोड़ा सुना है। क्या जानते हैं आप?
वो थोड़ी गंभीर बीमारी है ऐसा, और थोड़ा बहुत फैलती है जल्दी।
जल्दी फैलती है, तो इतना तो जानते ही हैं आप। आप बताइए, आप जानते हैं ओमाइक्रॉन वेरिएंट के बारे में?
यस।
क्या करना चाहिए लोगों को यहाँ?
मास्क पहनना चाहिए, हाथ सैनिटाइज करना चाहिए।
आप माता जी बताइए जरा, घूम के आप जानती हैं ओमाइक्रॉन वेरिएंट के बारे में?
Amit, clearly know that there is a concern over Omicron, but there are many who do not, and that is the reason why it is important to ensure that people get the right information. Amit, stay on with us. Let me also quickly go across to Shweta as well. Then we'll be joined by Dr. Amrish Mittal, Chairman and Head of Endocrinology and Diabetes at Max Healthcare. But Shweta, very quickly coming to you, where are you right now, and what are you seeing around? Because in Mumbai, the situation seems to be turning a little, difficult now for the people.
Well, absolutely, Hina. First and foremost, we would like to inform our viewers through our report that now Mumbai has recorded 683 COVID cases in past 24 hours, and that's huge cases what we are witnessing these days. As we have seen already, Mumbai is they have crossed more than 500 cases. Well, we are at Andheri, and you can see the visuals around me. My camera person George would show you the sea of people. That's how massive crowd it is. People are out on shopping, but many faces without mask. That is the thing where leniency lies. And then, although BMC has kept certain guidelines, rules, everything at place, but these people, they should understand on their own that how much mask is important for them. But clearly you can see in the visuals how people absolutely fail to carry this very basic but important thing, that they should wear mask. And as you know that Mumbai is being densely populated city, you'll find everywhere, although people are around, there are stalls happening, but yeah, you'll clearly see, Hina, there are so many faces without mask, and when we approach them that why are they not wearing their mask, ample of excuses come out. Some say they were eating, some say they were talking, some say they forgot it's in their pocket. These are some of the excuses what they make. Sir, आपसे जानना चाहेंगे, सर आप यहाँ पे लोगों के बीच खरीदारी कर रहे हैं, सर आपने मास्क नहीं लगाया है?
मैंने अभी दांत निकाला है बेटे अभी, हाँ मैं अभी।
आप इतने के बीच में खड़े हैं, सर आप मास्क अगर आप लगा लें तो?
मैं लगाया हुआ बेटे, लगाया हुआ।
Right, so here you just heard them that what are their reactions when it comes to these people when we ask them that why they have not wore their mask. Let me just quickly go ahead and show you one more example where the person is having mask but clearly on the chin. Sir, mask नहीं लगाया?
नहीं, 2 मिनट अभी वो बात करने के लिए निकाल दिया।
लेकिन अभी देखिए यहाँ पे नाइट कर्फ्यू की भी बात हो रही है, ऐसे में आपके व्यवसाय पे भी असर पड़ेगा इसका। आप अगर मास्क लगा ले तो आपकी भी सुरक्षा होगी, आपके आसपास।
लगाते ही हम लोग बात करने के लिए जो है ना निकाल दिए।
Hina, this is what I was talking about. These are n number
Shweta
of
are seen wearing the mask, but many are not. Many seem to be using it as a chin guard, something that we cannot really afford. Thank you very much, all of you, for the moment, for joining us and helping us understand how the situation is in different parts of the country. Yes, it's Christmas time. Yes, it's the end of the year. But can India, with only 61% population fully vaccinated, adopt complacence? That's the question that we are asking, and we want you to share your views and concerns with us. The numbers are flashing at the bottom of your screen. Call us if you have any concern, if you have any share. Some curbs have come back. Should the governments have more pragmatic ways for Jaan Bhi, Jahan Bhi? Dr. Amrish Mittal is joining us live this evening. Dr. Mittal, good evening. Thank you very much for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now. You saw the kind of reaction that my colleagues got from people around the country. Most of the people do not even know that there is something called as an Omicron variant. Can we really afford this kind of complacency, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to understand a few things. Firstly, people don't know about Omicron does tell us that they don't even watch television. And we thought everyone watches television. And anyone who watches TV would be seeing so much information about Omicron all the time. But anyway, having said that, the truth is that worldwide, people are, especially to the west of India, not necessarily to East Asian countries, people are not keen or willing to follow mask guidelines. Unfortunately, that's also true in our country. And the fact is that it is the festive season. People do need to go out shopping. There are issues about mental health, but one has to avoid overcrowding, piling on top of each other, and not wearing a mask. There is absolutely no justification to be in a crowd like this and not wear a mask. I mean, I think that the authorities could try an experiment of handing out free N95 masks to everybody when they enter a particular area, crowded area, and see, maybe they will put it on then, maybe they will feel sort of, obliged to put it on then. And the masks actually now, at this stage, should be N95 because Omicron spreads very rapidly. And, the thing is that such a rapid spread can only be halted by a proper cover over your nose and mouth, which N95 fits the bill. If, on the other hand, the same people are walking in the park, they go for a walk and there's distancing maintained, then actually a mask is not so critical in open air. But when you are in a market like this, masking is very, very important. Indoor gatherings are the worst for spread. And if the same thing was happening in a shop inside or in a mall, then that's definitely a disaster. So in one word, everyone should be wearing masks when they're in crowded places, and ideally an N95 mask. And one option could be to provide those masks to people when they enter such areas.
Do you think, Dr. Mittal, that probably some more pragmatic ways are needed that the government should now really implement for achieving Jaan Bhi, Jahan Bhi? Because you just heard people on the ground. Now, we tried to understand, about how the situation is on the ground. And you just heard from people there, some of them using the mask as a chin guard. Most of them were giving one excuse or the other. Someone saying that, while talking, one has to pull it down, and then other kind of excuses were there. So, announcing curbs, restrictions is one thing, but ensuring that it is being followed on the ground is also the government's responsibility, isn't it?
It is a big challenge, I agree. And restrictions like these curfews, I don't think are going to work, because curfews at night hardly mean anything. The crowds in the shops or in the markets are in the evening hours and not when the curfew hours are announced. So that, I think, is a waste of effort. I think there has to be more policing and, as I said, easy availability of proper masks there. It should be like a voluntary campaign or a government-run campaign where people are stopping you from entering and saying, please wear a mask. Or, like when you go to office buildings, they will check your mask. Same way in these crowded areas, when people are entering that area, there has to be a method by which you can either hand them a mask, or if they have a mask, make sure that they wear it properly. Because I don't see any other way. There's some policing will have to be done. We can't completely expect people to follow, especially if they are not suffering right now. So right now they feel it's something that is remote, that is distant, it hasn't hit us. Maybe it will hit us, maybe it's all hype. So they don't understand, the common man does not understand. So we have to have a mixture of ease for them as well as policing. You can't let them be like this. I mean, this is dangerous, what is happening.
Can people be more vigilant? Because, the visuals that we are getting, they're not just from remote locations in the country. They are from big cities like Delhi, Mumbai, the metro cities, Bengaluru. My colleague Brevati from there was bringing us visuals, people still coming out in large numbers. What can be done? What is your message to the people?
I think the message is the following. Let's look at the positive side. You can go outdoor for walks or to an open air gym and all if you like, because now we understand fomite transmission is not critical. It's the airborne transmission that is critical. So one is that one can do that. But what we are seeing in the images you're right now projecting is not a park. This is a market. So one should avoid crowded markets, obviously, and definitely wear an N95 mask. There is no question about it. Indoor gatherings, which are avoidable, indoor gatherings for fun, for recreation, for anything, should really come to an end. We should not have large indoor gatherings of people at all. That spells disaster. And in the open air, when you are in a crowded place, you must wear an N95 mask.
All right, Dr. Ambrish Mittal, appreciate you joining us here on Mirror Now and sharing with us your perspective. Important message for the viewers who are watching us right now, because the number of Omicron cases is going up and we all need to be taking precautionary measures. Also now joining us on the broadcast is Dr. Subhash Salunke, Chief Advisor on COVID to Maharashtra. We have Dr. Rajiv Dasgupta, National COVID Task Force member, Neeraj Gupta, CEO, Genes to Me and health expert, also live with us this evening. Good evening to all of you gentlemen. Dr. Subhash Salunke, I want to begin this discussion with you. If you heard the kind of reactions my colleagues got us from different parts of the country, how despite the advisory from the government side, from the state governments as well, not many seem to be following the protocol on the ground. Not many were even seen wearing the mask. Do you think it can just be left to the governments? What should be done so that it's implemented on the ground too?
We have to now appreciate that within the public health emergency, we are now at a very critical stage. See, there is no discussion about, whether the vaccination, its importance, everything is known. Nothing is unknown for that matter. Right now, so from today onwards, today till the 15th Jan is going to be very, very critical period. In this particular period, when we are seeing doubling of the cases that are occurring in cities like Mumbai, and please note, it is not Omicron or Omicron per se, it is a combination of the two. You have a Delta, you have Omicron. This number which we are recording in Mumbai, in Delhi and in Lucknow and everywhere, it's misleading, absolutely. Only because we are doing very few tests, you are getting these few numbers. If we were to do more tests, more sequencing, you will get much more. This particular variant has reached India now. Let us first and foremost accept that. Number two, we are seeing the cases because the transmission capacity or capability of this particular variant is much higher. Even Delta itself is not low. It is also there. So what we need to do now, for next at least 3 to 4 weeks, there will have to be a definite restrictions on the gatherings of the people in such a large number, whether it is religious, whether it is the merrymaking, or whether it is political gatherings. It is worse situation that on one hand, politicians are telling that follow this, follow that, follow this, and for their meetings, there are lakhs of people. This is a dichotomy. It is not acceptable. The point now remains that from today onwards, everywhere within India, some sort of restrictions are going to be essential, but not night curfew. Night curfew is just a superficial one. What is needed when people are going to unnecessarily come together, conglomerate, and there is an unwarranted opportunity for virus to transmit, that need to be restricted, and then use of mask and other standard protocol for COVID appropriate behavior is going to be very, very critical. That doesn't mean that we should ignore ensuring more and more vaccination takes place, ensuring that there is tracking of the cases, the testing, and then actually the contact tracing. And also we will have to now use district as a unit and sub-district and cities as the unit, and wherein the administration will have to now, if need be, take a much stronger and stricter steps so that we do not allow clustering. That is going to be very, very critical. If we do that, the pressure on the health system, pressure on the hospital will be minimized, in spite of the fact that it is expected to have a slightly milder course. But who knows whether it will be really milder, or we will see another jump in the hospital administration, critical case being managed, and ICU admission. Everything is very dicey. you cannot take anything granted as far as whether the Delta or whether it is Omicron. So let us take the worst case scenario and act upon that.
Absolutely. What you're saying is absolutely right. And Mr. Rajiv Das Gupta, now 2 lakh died during the second wave. Our medical infrastructure completely collapsed. Now at least we know one thing, that Omicron is spreading faster than Delta. Of course, there are still studies going on about its severity. Many say it's not as severe as Delta, but the case count is clearly going up. Are we prepared to handle a sudden spike in Omicron cases? Is our health infrastructure today ready?
Thank you. Actually, there are several parts to answering it. One, is the health service system better prepared today? Certainly, it is better prepared today, and all state governments and the central government, as well as private sector institutions, have substantially strengthened over several months, and it's been sustained inputs. And in fact, even in the early phase of the pandemic, the experience, particularly from Europe, where countries experienced high mortality, by the second wave, the clinicians, the nurses, everyone involved with patient care had learned pretty fast, how to minimize complications and deaths. So there's a lot of accumulated resource that's there. But that apart, how fast the Omicron is going to spread. Omicron is going to spread a lot under the radar, and relatively few are actually going to get diagnosed and labeled. That's because it spreads incredibly fast, estimated by some to be 20 to 40 times faster than Delta, plus the fact that it causes so mild symptoms. As recent data suggests, 1 in 2 cases of common cold in UK are being attributed to Omicron. The experience from South Africa is it's now beginning to level off both new cases as well as hospitalizations. The other experience from South Africa is that even among those who are hospitalized, which is a lot less than who were being hospitalized in Alpha and Delta phases, and this phenomenon is called decoupling. So you see the cases rising, but the hospitalization certainly not rising at the rate that was happening in the previous phases. So this decoupling is very, very evident in South Africa. And among those who are hospitalized, a lot are getting discharged much earlier. So overall, most likely, much less is going to be labeled as Omicron. But certainly, if the experience from other countries are anything to go by, Omicron would certainly establish itself as at least one of the dominant variants, if not completely removing Delta from the dominant position. But at the same time, if the South African experience is anything to go by, it will come rapidly, it will sweep through rapidly, but it will also die down pretty rapidly. And that could be the silver lining, and therefore it's about optimism and not overconfidence.
Right. Of course, what you're saying is absolutely right, and it's going to be a true test as well, because in April 2020, all government health facilities all over India had only about 16,800 odd ventilators. Today, due to the push by the center, clearly now there are nearly 75,000. But even if there are going to be mild cases, people are likely to go to the hospitals, and we cannot see that situation repeating itself. There is a concern, Neeraj Gupta, about more tests as well, as Dr. Salunke also raised. Now, perhaps genome sequencing is something you believe we need to do across all states of most of the samples, just like Delhi is doing?
Yes, thank you, Hina. I completely agree with Dr. Solanki. Is that one of the important concerns we have to understand is whatever we are first of all reporting is always a week later data in terms of time it takes, because 5 to 7 days to get a report on the genome sequencing. And then at the same time, we also know that we cannot do sequencing for every possible sample. Though we are trying to increase our infrastructure in India, we now have 28 different INSAAG labs, which are kind of emphasizing on sequencing the larger number of samples. But at a certain point of time, we will be able to make a benchmark that Omicron will actually, just like in London now, as in UK, we see that it's 1 in every 2 cases in Omicron. So we really don't need to do any sequencing thereafter. And so genome sequencing will definitely play an important role to understand the pandemic. But at the same time, it will also help us to determine if there is any new evolution in the pandemic virus, like in the strain. For example, we do still have Delta prevalent in our country as a point of time. And then at the same time, Omicron is coming on the doorstep. So will it evolve as our own mutation family like it happened in Delta case? For example, when it was a London strain, which was introduced into the Indian population, it evolved and became into a different variant, and it became a much more aggressive form of virus. So we have to really see and study and see how it evolves further in the Indian condition. And at the same time, we see a large prevalence of still Delta cases coming across. And so as Rajiv also mentioned that,
Mr. Gupta, I'm just interrupting you there. There's some breaking update, in fact, that we are getting for our viewers at this point in time, and we have to quickly tell our viewers about it because new restrictions have now been announced for the state of Maharashtra. This is very, very important. Mirror Now told you first that new restrictions may be announced from this evening itself, and Maharashtra government has announced some fresh restrictions, fresh curbs from midnight tonight. Not more than 5 people are going to be allowed in public places from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. This is because of the rise in Omicron cases as well in the entire state of Maharashtra. For the entire state, there are restrictions on attendance as well at all types of ceremonies. Weddings in closed spaces cannot have more than 100 people and up to 250 people if there is an open to sky space. We have my colleague Sandeep joining us on the phone line for more on this. Give us more details.
Yes, indeed, it was expected from Maharashtra government. As you know, Gujarat government has also imposed a night curfew. Similarly, Maharashtra government has imposed section 144 in night between 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. The major pointers that it covers is wedding in closed spaces cannot have more than 100 people and up to 250 people in open sky spaces. So these are the new curbs that has been introduced, and there are indeed, there are also some kind of restrictions over restaurants, gyms, space, cinema, theaters. They have to operate within 50% of capacity of attendance. So these are the restrictions that have been in place. So definitely, Maharashtra government does not want to take any kind of risk amid the increasing COVID cases in the state.
Right. And also what is very, very important, Sandeep, is the clear message from Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray. If corona infection is not allowed to increase, then everyone should follow health rules. So clearly a clear message going from the government there. Follow rules if you want to stop the spread of COVID. So public participation is very, very important.
Yes, indeed. See, it is not just Chief Minister of Maharashtra's message. Remember, 2 days ago, Ajit Pawar in Assembly, he mentioned that we don't want lockdown again. He even appealed people to, wear masks and adhere to the guidelines that has been issued by the state government. And the state government is very much scared for, they don't want any kind of lockdown, and they are, taking such kind of steps to make sure that we don't fall into risk of Omicron or COVID cases ahead.
All right, Sandeep, thank you very much for the moment for joining us with all of those details. So these are the new restrictions that have been announced by Maharashtra, and this is going to be in effect from midnight tonight. Mirror Now told you first that new restrictions are going to kick in the state of Maharashtra, and section 144 imposed from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. So these are the fresh rules that you will have to follow if you are anywhere in the state of Maharashtra. There are restrictions for gathering political gatherings as well in public places, and they will be there from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. Let's go back to our guests who continue to be with us at this point in time. Dr. Salunke, now this is also what I want you to highlight for our viewers and tell us about these kind of restrictions. How effective will these be if people will continue to come out on the streets, despite these being in place? And how can the government also ensure that their implementation happens on the ground?
I know there are a lot of challenges, and some people really don't like such restrictions. They call it draconian and anti-people, etc., etc. But today, you have no alternative but to insist on such restrictions, at least for a shorter period of time, because a very critical juncture at we are, and that is the reason these restrictions will have to be there. As a matter of fact, the principle is whether it is 6 p.m., 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. or whether it is daytime, irrespective of the time, do not allow people to come together on a larger number, particularly in an enclosed space. And for that matter, people themselves should decide whether do I need to really go there. If I can avoid for next fortnight, let me do that. That doesn't mean that you will have to reimpose the ban. But if this Omicron is going to become more virulent, and if there are going to be more number of cases which will require critical care, then there will be definitely a problem. And in spite of whether you like it or not, government will have to put more stricter sort of restrictions on the people. That is whatever the norms that have been given.
Right.
But this 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. is not something which is going to be foolproof. I feel it is 24/7, where for next 3-4 weeks, we need to restrict the movement where there is, unfortunately for us, the police will have to come on the road now. Because in our case, whether it's even a simple traffic violations, unless police is there, we so-called literate, educated also violate the traffic rules. That is the ground reality in this country. And it is not only for Maharashtra now, these restrictions throughout India. Northeast is going to be a serious problem because already Delta created problem for that region. I was in UP just 3-4 weeks back. Situation in UP is not at all satisfactory. So whether it is UP or Northeast or Maharashtra, Karnataka, everywhere, some sort of restrictions for a specified period of time, left to the wisdom of the local administration, depending upon epidemiological parameters, is going to be essential if we do not want to resort to the wide scale bans or wide scale sort of an economic activity being impacted adversely.
Right. Stay with us, Dr. Salunke. Now, Mr. Rajiv Dasgupta, I'll read out other guidelines, other restrictions, in fact, that have been announced by Maharashtra government and want your comment on those. Gathering of more than 5 people in public is prohibited from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. Only 100 people allowed in indoor weddings, not more than 250 if it's an outdoor wedding, 50% capacity for gym, spa, hotel, theatre, as well as cinema hall. Now, all of this is very, very important, but Maharashtra has also got cities like Mumbai, the financial hearts of the country. So how can the governments really strike this balance, in ensuring that economic activity continues and on the other hand, the infection rate doesn't rise at the same time?
Well, I wouldn't even attempt the balance question. As far as these restrictions or purported restrictions go, they are seemingly sensible, even commonsensical. Nothing to argue about. Hopefully this will bring some results. But if the epidemiology of Omicron is anything to go by, number one, and number two, the entire assumption is that the day we identified the first case of Omicron is when, or about when it arrived in India. That's actually not true. This is what in epidemiology is called an index case, when the first case is picked up, but that's not when it necessarily started. It would certainly have necessarily started actually longer back. So the short point is whether these are going to have any bearing or how great a bearing, given the epidemiology of Omicron, the unique epidemiology of Omicron, I think it's reasonably clear it's not going to substantially slow down, particularly if the infection arrived significantly earlier than we first detected, which is possibly the case. But nevertheless, as I said, these are standard, sensible precautions, but that's against the standard virus that we had. Omicron is nothing like the standard one.
Okay. Omicron, you're saying, is nothing like the standard one. So clearly, if measures are being announced, they need to be followed as well properly. Stay with us, gentlemen. We have our first viewer, in fact, joining us on the broadcast. Dhruv Mahajan from Jodhpur is joining us live this evening. Dhruv, good evening. Tell us, what is it that you would like to say?
Hello. Good evening. So I had a question regarding
Hi, Dhruv. Yes.
I had a question regarding the vaccination thing. See, everyone knows that vaccination doesn't prevent infection at all. Okay. But how does it prevent you from getting a serious Omicron infection? I'm not talking about the other infections. How effective is that? Also, question regarding the night curfew. I am like, how does it help in any way? Like, is it just to show that we are doing something, or it actually works in real life? Two questions.
Okay, Dhruv, thank you very much for calling us. Dr. Salunke, will you like to respond?
Yeah, I think I will take his second question first. I fully endorse what he's saying, that it is something which, makes government feel that something is being done. People feel something is being done. That perception is nothing wrong in it. But at the same time, the height of the gatherings, particularly in the evening, actually in the urban areas, is after 9 o'clock. So naturally, actually given opportunity, I would have liked to prepone it to 8 p.m. But now that government in its wisdom has done 9 p.m., it's okay. So going out, going to restaurants, unnecessarily. So I feel the night, sort of restrictions or curfews have some role, but not the significant role. I endorse that. That's the reason I said it should be 24/7. And as far as vaccination part is concerned, I feel that vaccination with the 2 doses of the existing vaccine, whichever is in India, certainly is going to give us protection as far as severity of the disease is concerned. And even though there is no specific vaccine against Omicron, these vaccines which are available in India will also be able to give some protection against Omicron.
Okay, we have another viewer now joining us, P. Kumar from Mount Abu. Good evening. Thank you for calling us here on Mirror Now. What is it that you would like to say or ask?
See, what we need to do, we are all sensible people and we have seen the fatality. So the standard operating procedure for like mask and washing the hands with the sanitizer, etc., is very much important. Second thing, what I was telling, night curfew and other things are little check and balancing in our society, which is required. Number one. Number two, this Omicron is basically, spread in UK and others. So the most kind of a susceptible people will be the air travelers. We have to take extra caution, and contact tracing there is very much important. The government of Maharashtra has done very nice job for, Dubai people, 7 days, home quarantine. So we need to work together. And the first and foremost, the politician, they should understand there should not be any political rally. The rule should be for each and every person. They are not come from the heaven and all that. The rules are for common man, and they will have lakhs of people are going. So all panchayat elections, everything should be having absolutely come to a standstill. There should not be any election rally unless the entire Omicron will come out of this. Try to understand, we lost billions of dollar business. People have lost.
Interesting point you're making, Mr. P. Kumar. That all kind of gatherings, should then be prohibited. There should be restriction there. A question, in fact, has come on social media as well. And I'll ask Mr. Neeraj Gupta and Mr. Rajiv Dasgupta to respond to this. Till a few months ago, city administration in Delhi and Mumbai were chalaning people for not wearing masks. But it stopped some months ago. Did the government also slip into this sab theek hai syndrome? Neeraj, 10 seconds, and then Mr. Dasgupta.
See, actually what has happened in terms of when the pandemic is in its kind of a low momentum, so the atmosphere overall gets very normal, and people have been already in more than 1.5 years in this pandemic situation. So It's a very natural process wherein people get into a very much more open atmosphere. And then same is the scenario with the government in terms of it cannot go on forever. And when you have vaccinated such a large set of population of your state or region, then you would automatically not like to emphasize on a marketing policy as so strict as it can be. But yeah, it should change its gears once these.
Mr. Rajiv Das Gupta.
2 quick points very quickly. Yes, provider fatigue is as much a reality as community fatigue. We need to certainly correct both of these. And finally, we often have very strong views on what others should do, and only rarely do we actually appreciate what it feels like to be someone else. And therefore, one of the approaches that many countries are adopting, particularly where Christmas and New Year is really big, is really asking what would the oldest person actually want. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, all of you gentlemen, for joining us and for also answering the questions of our viewers. Of course, viewers also understand that we all need to be extremely sensible and we also need to follow the protocol properly. Thank you very much for joining us for the moment. Heading into a short break.